Hi, I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how the AM works, dialed in with the FJO, and how we've been able to get the Supra running really well with this setup. I'm going to go through some of the steps that you can take to protect your motor, as well as all the different sensors that we're using. This here is the AM. Let me show you how easy this is to start. Basically, I don't have my foot on the clutch pedal or the gas pedal. I just turn the key. It starts right up. You can see the idle will go up like it does from the factory and then drop back down. Now we've set our idle at about 1350 RPM, and guess what? We have cams, 272 cams in this car, and we have a light and flywheel. So you can hear there's no clutch chatter, no rattle. You don't hear cams. It's actually pretty quiet. Here's the AM. And you can actually see, this is how it works. You have the boost on the left side, fuel on the right side, and this is the amount of fuel that it's injecting right here. So you can change this number up or down to rich and or lean the mixture. The FJO wideband is right here, and you can see that our idle, we have it set up right now to idle a little rich. You can have it idle quite a bit leaner, but for now that's where we have it idling at, and it's pretty rock steady. All the way down the page, you have access to every single sensor in your car. You can see the coolant temperature, you can see engine speed, you can see your injector duty cycle, you can also data log, so it's pretty powerful. Over here, right behind this map, I actually have the timing map, which is basically the same thing. At any RPM, at any level of boost, you can set independent timing to tailor to your needs. You can also tell your car what knock is, and there's a whole bunch of other capabilities that this has. So let's go around and take a look at the engine. I'm going to shut this off. Now here's where we decided to mount our FJO wideband controller. Most cars have a charcoal canister here. We took it out. So there are other places you can mount it. They say it shouldn't be mounted close to heat. We've mounted it here anyways, and it seems to be doing fine. Basically, you run your wideband sensor. We've mounted the sensor as pretty close to the turbo as we can. This should be mounted at least 18 inches away from the outlet of your head. So make sure 18 inches at least, or you'll burn up that wideband a little sooner. We've also run the output of this wideband. This looks pretty messy down here, but there's a gray wire coming out of the wideband that you run into pin 72B or pin 47 on your AM ECU. And you can simply run that through here. Most people don't know they can run wires through this, but you take out these two bolts, you can run wires right down in there. We also ran the LED that you saw in the car through this too. So we run the wire right through here, straight up to the LED. It's a bolt-in, basically plug and play. This FJO is awesome. Let's step over to the other side of the car, and let's actually look down by the throttle body here. This is where we mounted our intake air temp sensor. This is just a generic GM intake air temp sensor. The reason we put it here is because this is a lot colder to your hand. This is actually a hot motor, but I can touch this without any problem. That's keeping this intake sensor from getting heat soaked. Some people mount it up here, like the VPC intake air temp sensor, and it gets heat soaked from the engine, and it's not actually reading the temperature of the air anymore. Now, with this intake air temp sensor, you run your wires, basically two wires come out of it, you run them along here, and this is where the mass airflow sensor used to be. So there are wires that used to go to the mass airflow sensor. Two of those are for intake air temp, and that's the two you want to connect to. You can look on our website, and it will actually show you which wires those are. Now over here, we've installed our map sensor, which reads boost. This is the GM one. If you're running less than about 30 pounds of boost, you can run this one. If you're running more than 30, I recommend the AEM 5-bar map sensor. And basically what you do is you just run the wires. There's 3 wires coming out of every map sensor. You simply run them into the 3 wires over here that used to go. You used to have the stock Supra comes with a map sensor. And basically you take that out, you cut the 3 wires off, and you connect them to this one. Instructions for that are also on our site. This is where we decided to mount it. If you run with the AEM, it's a wasted spark system, so you will need more current to drive your coil packs. We've actually run the HKS Twin Power and have had a lot of success with it, as well as a lot of other cars. This is very simple to install. You have 6 wires that come out of here. One wire we ran into here. I forget which one it is, but one of these is ignition hot. The other 6 wires go into the passenger side 6 wires. There's 3 on top, 3 on the bottom. You just connect these yellow wires from here into the 3 wires on that side, and that's it. Now, the last thing you want to be careful of is extended periods of cranking. And we crank walk the motor, and what we've done now to protect the motor is we've actually taken the clutch pedal. At the bottom there's a little switch. You can just bypass the switch, and that'll allow you to start the car without pressing the clutch pedal. We think that's real important. We obviously don't want to go through another motor because of that. So I recommend the FJO wideband. It's great. The AEM is running great, and what I'd like to do as well is show you that this car makes about 800 to the wheels, and I want to show you how well this clutch engages, because it's really hard to find a clutch that can hold that much power and yet still have a stock-like drivability. So why don't you, let's video from that side, and I'll just back up.